Welcome to Math Anxiety Coach. My name is Samantha Fay, and we have conversations about how to reduce your math anxiety. Sometimes it's nice to actually hear from somebody who is actually able to reduce their math anxiety. I have a story from someone who used to be bad at math and then found a way to be good at math. Let's hear her story. The myth of I'm bad at math. Although I wouldn't have believed it at 14, people always perk up when they hear I failed grade 9 math and had to take summer school, barely passing grade 10 with a D, then went to college and have taken 4 math classes and have had a 4.0 in the mathematics area. They start listening, imagining I learned some trick or secret knowledge that suddenly made me good at math after years of being bad at it. The only secret they deflate when I tell them was a tiny tip a friend of my husband told me. When I said I had to do every other even number of the practice questions in the textbook chapter for homework, he said no. I argued, yes, that's what she assigned us. He explained, if you are struggling, you have to do every question, not just every other one. You need more practice, not less. Don't think of it as an assignment to finish. Think of it as practice. That's it. I did twice as much work as required for several months. Eventually, the patterns began to emerge and I began to understand. And now I'm good at math. Now, when I'm helping my kids with their math homework, I make them use a clean sheet of paper, not their class handout to work on. Then I make them write out every step. No skipping or doing it in their heads aloud. They always balk at this until they get the answer wrong, and then we can walk through their work to find the problem. If it's not written, there's no way to find the misstep. I also encourage them to look at it like a puzzle or a strategy game. And when they say, why do I need to know this? Or I'm never going to use this, I agree with them. Seriously. In all likelihood, they won't actually use this formula or whatever. Instead, I try to help them see it's not because they need to know this particular math thing, but playing the game, solving the puzzle helps train their brain to work more logically, and that they will use no matter what. While in college, I had a low placement score. I took beginning algebra, intermediate algebra, before I could take college algebra and then trig. I walked out of that first beginning algebra class in tears because I had zero idea what the teacher was talking about. And I was sure this was it. I was never going to make it. Having all the extra math classes really helped me in chemistry, organic chem, and especially in physics, which I never thought I could possibly take. I wanted to go into the medical field out of high school, but because I assumed I was bad at math, I didn't try. Now it's no longer an obstacle. I really like that story. There are so many really good things that the student learned that she told about in the story. Number one, do more practice problems. For me as a teacher, when I assign practice problems, I assign the minimum. I want the people who understand what's going on not to have to do a bunch of just practice problems to do practice problems, but I want them to get a little bit of practice in. So if you find that you are struggling with the concept, do more. I know that's hard and it takes some self control to get there, but that persistence will pay off. The next thing she talked about is actually writing out every step. I know your teachers want you to do this, and there's a reason behind it. And the reason is that if you make a mistake, then you can see where the mistake is, and you can know then that that's where you need to fix your thinking. And then I also like at the end that it's most of the time, it's not about the concept that you're actually learning. It's about the process and training your brain on how to go through processes. I agree with her. I actually tell this to my students. When are you going to use this? You're not. Face it. Factoring. Your boss is never going to come out and say, here's a polynomial, can you factor it for me? They're not. But what are you doing? You're learning to look at the situation, look at the details of the situation. From the details of the situation, figure out which process you need to do. Complete the process correctly, keeping track of the small details, such as that silly little negative sign, all the way down until you get to the correct answer or you complete the process correctly. I don't care what you end up doing, every boss is going to be wanting you to be able to have that skill. So I hope that this story gave you some insight into how one person was able to get beyond their math anxiety and their mindset of being bad at math and really grow into someone who is confident in math. I hope you got something out of it, and I look forward to our next conversation.